Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
What a sight for sore eyes today. Give it up for yourselves. There's not a lot of things that bring me hope nowadays in the middle of the genocide. But today I feel hopeful. Today I feel inspired. Today I feel ready. Today I'm ready for whatever's coming next. And today we are here to organize. We are here to organize. Are we here to organize? Are we here to organize? We are all protagonists in this movement. All of us have a role to play, and all of us have things to learn from each other, right? And we are going to be ready to learn from each other, to try this on, to experiment, and all of us have a very imperative part in this. So we thank you all for being here today. We thank the students who helped launch this. Give it up for the students in this room. Give it up for the students who put their lives on the line, who put their education on the line, who risked it all for dignity, for liberation, who pivoted the movement and showed us what is possible. Give it up for the students. Today has to offer for us throughout the agenda. We ask for.
We represent 6,500 workers from across different roles: teachers, paraeducators, counselors, nurses, etc. And since 2021, UESF, we have been in favor of BDS since 2021, where new executive leadership stepped in. In November 2023, we unequivocally said no, that we are against this U.S.-backed genocide, that we are against the U.S. weaponry that is being sent to kill and destroy the Palestinian people, and that we are against U.S. imperialism. Yeah. And what we have been able to accomplish internally to really build the class consciousness of our members, to be able to connect how the day-to-day issues, how the bread and butter issues are actually directly tied to what's happening in Palestine, that is through organizing. That is through one-on-one structured organizing conversations. Because, and the conversations that we're having are, why is it that SFUSD is underfunded by $200 million when the U.S. and our government continues to send way more than that to the Israel occupation, to the Israel entity that is killing Palestinians? We say no. So two things, I'll be really, really brief. Two things that I think, in talking to UESF and seeing what we can do as students, as labor, as organizers, I think we believe we have two tasks ahead of us. One of them is continue to orient ourselves to mass mobilization, to be politically oriented with the Palestinian struggle. That's right. To continue to organize, to continue to mobilize, to be leaders and humble ourselves to all these struggles that we're learning and winning from. And then the second task, and we believe that this is probably the biggest one, is to have an unwavering amount of unity among all sectors of our class. And what we mean by this is we mean all nationalities, all identities, from gender, sexuality, race. We mean all sectors. We mean all different workers, students, collectives. We all need to have that unwavering unity. So the bosses, so the administrations, so the capitalist elite cannot break us. And that unity is what's going to prevail us to continue to win. because ultimately the resistance in Palestine will be the ones to free Palestine. And what we can do here is to create a crisis, a political crisis, so that we tell our government that we don't stand for this, that we don't stand for genocide to meet the needs of the people, because our people desperately need that.
Hi everyone. I don't know that I could say it better than our last speaker, and following SEIU 1021's really leadership. My name's Maura. I'm from OEA. I'm really proud to be an Oakland educator. OEA for Palestine is a rank and file group. We're really pushing our union to be on the right side of history. I'm really proud that we are a militant union that doesn't just stick to our bread and butter. We really fight for what we call the common good. And right now, yeah, give it up, the common good. Right now, Palestine is that common good, right? We are supporting our Arab and Muslim students, and we are really taking the call from students, from our communities, about what we should be doing as a union. Last year and this year, we have pushed for many new business items in our union, and they have all overwhelmingly passed. It's been a big piece. Most recently, our call this year is to support an arms embargo on Israel, right? That is our job here in America. And I think this year, what is on the table is really to look to our students to follow their lead and to be the teachers who are going to take it to the picket line, right? If we have to, for what is needed. And we're really going to be pushing for divestment this year as well from our local and from our state government. So, as the speaker said before me, like, we really can't get any materials. This is connected to the bread and butter. I don't have pencils for my classroom, and yet you have billions to send across these. So as workers, we know that this is our issue, right? We deserve the well-food team. I also wanted to make a plug. OEA for Palestine would not be successful without Bay Area Labor for Palestine, a place where unions are coming together. We are sharing our resolutions. We are creating a ground layer of resolutions so that we can build our capacity. It's going to take all workers, all students, all community members to organize more and more folks. As they said, we need to do one-on-ones. We need to build our movement and talk to everyone at our shop floors, in our community, our neighbors, about how to build and how to end this genocide. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca Gross. I'm a UAW member, a grad worker down at UC Santa Cruz.
I'm Jess Sumner, also a grad worker at UC Santa Cruz, and it's great to be here with all of you.
Thank you to all the organizers of this incredible meeting. It's amazing to be in a room with so many people fighting for a free Palestine. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the organizing that we've been doing over the past year. And then Jess is going to talk a bit about our strike briefly. So we started in October when the genocide escalated in Gaza, fighting for divestment from the Department of Defense in labs. And this has manifested as something called Researchers Against War. And it's been really amazing to see workers organize themselves in their departments, like the astronomy department, the physics department, get together and say, we don't want to take Department of Defense funding. And it's Against War initiative now sort of move to a nationwide level. We have workers in labs across the country that are doing this work. We could also imagine something like this manifesting in dropping organizations and foundations like the Helen Diller Foundation, which we all know in the Bay Area is a really heinous foundation that, funds hospitals and universities, but also funds the Kufi Foundation and Friends of the IDF. So, shame. We have also been doing work and supporting and collaborating with the undergrad-led student movement and encampment at UCSC. I see some folks over there. Shout out. Many of whom were also workers, it's worth saying, in UAW. And finding ways that we can, collaborate and be in solidarity together in this struggle. And this, really the worker struggle started in terms of labor withholding on May 1st when we went on a one-day wildcat strike in solidarity with the encampment that went up that day, as well as a call from the Palestine General Federation of Trade Unions.
And this ended up, although we couldn't have foreseen it really happening this way, ended up setting us up to go on a 3-week strike from May 20th to June 7th. And what we were demanding in that strike, which was all across the whole UC system, so thousands of workers, was demanding funding for workers that were conscientious objectors to be able to leave their labs doing this project for the war machine, for the UC to disclose and divest from their investments in military and war, and free speech and amnesty for all Palestine solidarity protesters. So at UC Santa Cruz, the undergrad student encampment went from May 1st to May 31st when it was violently repressed by the UC sending in police. And on the side of labor, primarily grad workers, our strike was halted then by an Orange County judge in June who ordered us all to go back to work. So these two efforts, both the camp and the strike, we're seeing, since this all went down in June, the kind of repression that the UC is undertaking, that our employer is saying that this is because encampments are now illegal and masking is now illegal, and that our strike was illegal, but we know what this is actually about. It's because all of these actions were in solidarity with Palestine. This is what the UC is afraid of. They're afraid of this power of students and workers, and this is why we need to continue to build together a movement and no more money. Something we said a lot on the picket was not another nickel, not another dime, no more money for Israel's crimes. And I think that's what we as workers are going to continue to try to build. So, we're so honored to be here, and we're looking forward to continue, to work with all of you and to build this movement for a free Palestine. So thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam.
What a great show of power here in this room. My name is Munadil Hirzallah. I am from the USPCN, US Palestinian Community Network, he, him. Also proud member of Education, San Francisco, United Educators of San Francisco. It is an understatement to say that we have lived in a very, very stressful year right now. And I'm also proud and honored to say that I am originally, my roots are from Gaza. And also I learned from my childhood the fact that we should always stand for justice. Although I have lost a few members of my family in the last year, one of whom was only 4 years old. And I truly believe that the action that we did as one of the plaintiffs in the court that suing Austin, Blinken, and Biden for them being responsible for such a genocide. Israel that's doing this without the unconditional support of the US imperialism and the US government, the different governments of the US. Israel brag about their power. You know, might is not right. Israel was threatening to attack Lebanon in the last few days, but they got a wake-up call from our brothers and sisters in Yemen. In a changing world. We live in, America has changed, the world has changed, the struggle is changing, and therefore we need to take charge of our destiny. I am so proud of our students in the different campuses. I am so proud of their work, and I tell them that they are not going to be alone. We are going to be with you. And you will be here. The community who was in fact at some time were student activists, I think that you have a lot of challenge ahead of you, okay? And I know the difference, like the methods is different, the technology is different, but also we are against this imperialism that is trying to take away our right to self-determination, our right to speak out. So this area of like attacking our civil rights, our human rights, we need to stand up together. And we're here to learn from you. Why am I saying it's hard? You know, when I was students, that was the icons, that the role models for us were like Che Guevara, Nelson Mandela, Ghassan Kanafani. But now the role models for this generation is like Elon Musk. And you know, this kind of things. So we have a lot to do, and I'm really here to learn from you and support you all the way. People united will never be defeated.
Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Tara from the Palestinian, is this working? Yes. I'm Tara from the Palestinian Feminist Collective. And I think I'm closing out this part before we move into the facilitation routes and, you know, the demands. And first of all, thank you for having me. Thanks, Ronaldo, for going before me, actually. It's very humbling to go after you. I think the message I want to give you before moving into the work that we're supposed to do today is that we are in a time where the university campus is primed for a long and sustained revolutionary period. And this is because of the work that you've done. And it's more important than ever right now to sharpen our analysis of the university as a tool and an extension of empire. And this means that the university functions in a way to reproduce the conditions of the state of production, the conditions of the state apparatus, and the ideological state apparatuses that exist atop the economic infrastructure, which is the capitalist mode of production that we live under here on Turtle Island. And so our analysis of the university as this extension of empire, I think, requires an understanding of it as a place that has two legs. The first is not a place that has two legs, but a place that works in a way that extends imperialist hegemony through two legs. First is militarily, by producing research for arms production, intelligence, security apparatuses, and what have you. And then economically, by producing and reproducing an alienated worker. A worker who is alienated from the fruits of their labor, a worker who is unable to engage in political struggle because of the conditions that they have to endure to create a sustainable life for themselves, or a life that they can live under unlivable conditions, really. Or conditions that are close, really, to becoming unlivable, with the tendency moving towards fascism, which is, of if we understand it is colonial, if we understand it through an anti-imperialist lens, is colonialism turned inwards. And so, if our analysis of the university is sharp, and I think if the analysis of the university follows these two lines, our targets are very clear. Our targets are the economic leg and the military leg of the university as an extension of empire. And I think it's become so clear after the period of the encampments that the students are leading the revolutionary and advancing the revolutionary movement here on Turtle Island. And it's you all who are tasked with sustaining this revolutionary potential and sustaining this revolutionary period on the university. Because we're now at a time we're in a new phase of struggle, and we're never going back to the way it was before. There's going to be many more manifestations of the encampments, even if they're not encampments in and of themselves. There's going to be many more manifestations of that heightened period of struggle where contradictions are extremely sharp and they're clear to everyone. And it's our task right now to understand it and to analyze it, to clarify our demands, to clarify our strategies, to make sure that we are ready to change our strategies when change is required, because the struggle is dynamic and requires different strategies and different tactics at different times. And it requires us to shift and change with it as well. And that change is really being led by the students right now and the youth. So I won't take too long, but really you are living through an extremely important moment right now. And it's your time to take it and make the change that you want to make. To ensure that, because there's high turnover in the university, to ensure that the students that come after you come into an organizing setting and a site of struggle that is ready to accept them and ready to advance, ready to move your demands, ready to meet the demands, and ready to shift and change to meet the conditions. And so, yeah, thank you so much. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this day with you all and to learning from all of you. And yeah, I'm excited to be part of this. Thank you all.
Hi, I'm Blanca. I'm a faculty member at San Francisco State University. I'm also a proud member of my union, the CFA San Francisco State, which also endorsed this conference and also voted to support and all USA to Israel. And my life has been radically transformed since this wonderful generation of students decided to set an encampment in our university using the methods they had learned also from our union organizing on our 2 strikes, being bottom-up, being democratic, working with everyone to build power from below, and I'm learning every day from them. So I'm very, very honored to be in this conference, thanks to their initiative.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Sara, she, her pronouns. I organize the Palestinian Youth Movement. I'm also a healthcare worker. Shout out to all the healthcare workers here. And I was also the student committee coordinator for the PYM, so I helped coordinate and support students during all the encampments in the Bay Area.
I'm a student at SF State. I'm a sophomore. I'm studying philosophy and English literature. I'm planning to become a union teacher, a union high school teacher, so looking forward to seeing you all at the workforce.
Hello
everybody. Good morning. My name is Jose. I teach Spanish at Balboa High School, so I'm a member of United Educators of San Francisco. Shout out to all educators in Soraba. I hope you join us to be a teacher in San Francisco as well. And looking forward to connecting labor, community, and students in the fight for Palestine.
Hey everyone, my name's Jake. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a tech worker here in the Bay Area. I'm involved with Bay Area Labor for Palestine and No Tech for Apartheid. Organizing against the leaders of the software industry who are helping fund and fuel the genocide in Gaza right now with contracts like the Nimbus contract, as well as other contracts with the State of Israel. And I just wanted to say how excited I am to be part of Bay Area Labor for Palestine, because it's been an opportunity to begin organizing the unorganized, and that's what tech workers are. We are unorganized. And we're seeing now with the mass demonstrations, with the rallies of Bay Area Labor for Palestine, that tech workers are coming out, and I'm very excited to begin building across the industry here with other tech workers a response to the genocide, to the war in Palestine that is being funded with our labor and our value.
I'm Jeffney. I'm a junior at San Francisco State University, Students for Gaza. I'm studying English education. I minor in race and resistance. I want to teach high school, so I'm really excited to be here and work with labor.
Hi everyone, I'm Rama Ali Qasid. I am a member of the United States Palestinian Communities Network. I'm also a member of the Palestinian Feminist Collective, and I'm also a member of the Faculty for Justice in Palestine at San Francisco State University. And I want to just 20 seconds. The faculty at San Francisco State, and this is a message to all faculty out there, the faculty of San Francisco State was at service for students during our encampment. And I want us to ensure, faculty in here, teachers in here, to put our students first. It's our obligation, it's our duty to protect our students. It's our obligation, it's our duty to take action from our students. And as you all know, San Francisco State was the university that was able to divest from 4 weapons manufacturing, including Caterpillar and Lockheed Martin. So it is all of our role. We have to stay united. We have to stay protagonists. So thank you all.
Hi y'all, I'm Qasim. I organize with the Palestinian Youth Movement. I also organize with UC Berkeley, SJP, and sometimes Healthcare Workers for Palestine when I have time. And I'm a medical student at the UCSF, UC Berkeley Joint Medical Program.
Good morning, everybody. So wonderful to be with you here today. My name is Benny. I'm a rank and file member of IFBTE Local 21. I'm a municipal worker in the City and County of San Francisco. I'm also a rank and file member of the Democratic Socialists of America and co-chair of Bay Area Labor for Palestine. So just very excited to be here today, learning from the students, supporting the students, and growing this labor movement with all of you. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris. I'm with the Palestinian Youth Movement. I'm also a former student organizer with SJP at Santa Clara University, and I also help lead the student committee supporting our students during the encampments.
Come to Escalate, it was not just 70 people. That's because through these open assemblies, we were able to give people a chance to have a say in the movement they were participating in. And when you're part of making a decision, you have that commitment to go talk to the people around you and bring those people into the movement as well. That's why it was not just me or even 70 talking to our president and asking them for divestment. It was 1,000 students marching to our administration building and demanding divestment. And it's through building like that that we were able to divest from Lockheed Martin, Palantir, Caterpillar, and numerous other weapons manufacturing companies that
So yeah, we won won divestment, but divestment was never the end goal. It is a win, but there is no victory during genocide. So we needed to set a new goal for ourselves. We asked what would actually end the Zionist entity. And we said, we're going to put our minds on how do we end all US-backed aid to Israel. But as of state, we can't do that alone. We couldn't even just start thinking about it alone. So what did we do? We started reaching out to our comrades at USF, then UC Berkeley, then community colleges, high schools, other CSUs, other private schools, other UCs. They were all craving a space where we could have these open debates and discussions and vote on what the next steps of the movement are. But then again, the students alone, we have a lot of power, but where the core of our power comes from is in our ability to act as a catalyst for labor to go on strike, to actually put a stop to the weapons, to the logistics company that are sending over the bombs right now. So, one of the first actions that the student coalition took is we reached out to our friends at Labor for Palestine and we built out a student labor forum. And at that forum, we had a discussion where the idea of this convention that you stand in here, that you sit in here today, was formed. We created the convention planning committee, and we decided to bring together more and more people. We put out a call, and everyone started signing. We had, I think, around 65 signatories on this convention. And we brought everyone together, again, more and more open forums where we had debates, where we discussed this. Everything that's on the agenda today, it was not made up by the presiding committee. It was made up by so many individuals that are here today. And that's what I truly believe, that these democratic mass forms, the ones that started our encampment, the ones that won us open bargaining, the ones that won us divestment, the ones that brought together the students, the ones that brought together this convention, the one that you sit in here today, that is what will lead us to victory. So much for being here today. I'm so excited to hear all of your input. And I want to remind you all, when you raise your hand to vote on demands and to vote on actions, that is not just a vote, that is a commitment to talk to your coworkers, your classmates, your community members about every single thing that is decided in this room. If you know someone that's not in this room yet, they will be by winter, okay? So that's what we're going to be working towards. This is a commitment to build. You are all amazing organizers. I'm so excited to see you out on the mobilizations, on the picket lines, in your jobs, in your sites of struggles. Thank you for being here. Free Palestine.
Rob and Japni, thank you for walking us through all the work you guys have done on your campus, how we got here, why we're here. It's an honor to be in the struggle with you guys, really. I learn a lot from you guys often, but I have to say it is an absolute pain to talk after both of you because you're team members. So I'm going to move us into the historical significance and importance of mass convenings in the Palestinian national liberation struggle. And I want to start us off in October of 1975, which was the largest public gathering of Palestinians in the Zionist state since the Nakba of 1948. And this convening took place in Al-Masra, or Nazareth. And the goal of this convening was to confront Zionist plans to confiscate Arab lands across the Galilee. The 1975 conference laid the groundwork for the uprisings, which were later commemorated as Land Day, having produced many resolutions, building foundations for a general strike, and establishing committees to implement its political goals. But this 1975 conference is just one note of many in a long history of Palestinians using conferences to concretize strategic objectives and consolidate on ideological questions. And this process of convening the masses dates back to the pre-Nakba period, from the first Arab Women's Congress in October of 1929, to the youth congresses in Yafa in December of 1932, and in Haifa of May of 1935, all of which asserted opposition to British and Zionist colonization and supported the Great Palestinian Revolt of 1936 to 1939. I use these examples to highlight the fact that in moments of crisis, and also in moments of revolution, Palestinians have historically turned to conferences in order to bring our people and our movements together and breathe conviction and political clarity into our struggle and amongst the masses. We're now in an unprecedented moment of history, and I know we all know this, as we bear witness to the ongoing and brutal genocide against the Palestinian people. We are also part of building a mass movement, that is committed to struggling for Palestinian national liberation. Our demands for a free Palestine echo in the streets, in classrooms, in universities, and disrupt daily lives of all genocide profiteers. All backers of Zionism, of Israel, and of Western imperialism have been put on notice. The perpetrators of genocide and occupation have names, and they have faces. And the masses of people around the world stand against them in the millions. The movement for Palestine has never been stronger in North America, but with this strength comes a huge responsibility for us as students, people involved in labor, community organizers, whatever it may be. This moment is calling on us to strengthen our relationships, our strategies, our tactics, and our unity for the struggle ahead. And I want to be clear, when we're talking and drawing from historical examples of our struggle, we're not here to draw false comparisons, and we're not here to try to replicate structures and processes from our history, from our past. However, it is our duty to learn from the movement and from the struggle, all of the revolutionaries, the martyrs, and the masses that came before us, and convene the masses as we're doing today, so that we can build a shared assessment of the moment and chart out the next phase of struggle here in the belly of the beast. I'm extremely proud to say that over 700 people of conscience registered for this conference and convene here today. And we convene today to continue tradition of convening the masses in the name of advancing our liberation struggle. Friends and comrades, brothers and sisters, we have to be honest about the enemy we are facing, which is a highly organized enemy. And for this reason, there is no option but to out-organize our enemy. Let's be clear about this. And this is our commitment, the commitment to organization that all of us must leave this conference with today. I want to say in closing that just by being here today, we are all collectively reaffirming our commitment to this movement, to the struggle for Palestinian national liberation, and we have made our message clear, that we, the Palestine movement in North America and across the world, are here to fight until victory and total liberation from the river to the sea, inshallah.
University. So make some noise, y'all.
So I want to talk briefly about what we're trying to accomplish in this conference and about the three demands that you're familiar with because they're on the website that we've been talking about them. We all have been organizing for Palestine since October, and most of us before October. And we have been doing so like with the leadership of the Palestinian organizations, specifically in the student movement. We had the demands of disclose, defend, divest, and declare. We also had the demands of stopping the genocide, ceasefire, immediate ceasefire now. We had the demands of end all USA to Israel, and many other demands. We would like for the Bay to find overarching demands that allow us to build on these demands and bring these three sectors together: students, workers, and the community. What we are trying to accomplish today, this coming fall, and as long as we need it, is a quite difficult and significant endeavor. We want to build a mass movement of students, workers, and communities that really can stop this genocide and play the role we in the US have to do so. But we are doing this not only out of the excitement of this terrific student mobilization, and of the working class and union insurgency, with Palestine caucuses are popping up in all of the unions, and they're forcing the union leaderships to discuss Palestine and to pass resolutions. And now that we have 5 national labor federations that say that they want to end all USA to Israel, we need to put them to work. And this is happening, and these are good news. But we also are doing this in a context of a peak of genocide that is demoralizing, is hitting down our Palestinian colleagues and comrades, because it is hard to wake up in the morning and find out that family members and friends have been murdered. And then our taxes are being used to do that. So we also need to take a toll of that. And we also are doing that in a moment where there is an organized double down of repression against our movement. So we cannot just expect that we're just going to keep growing if we cannot defend ourselves in this movement. And we're also doing this in a very difficult moment politically in this country because we have the US election coming up. And we know when the US election coming up, they're asked to put Palestine under the rug, not to talk about it, and the only thing you want to talk about is who is the candidate you're going to be voting on. And one of the big challenges we have ahead is how we can build a movement that has demands that allow us to continue fighting regardless who gets elected, so we can keep our movement independent and we can keep the power on the people. And that's part of the mission we have today. We will not be co-opted. We are not going to follow the leadership of a political group that wants to put a sticker on our movement. This movement is a self-determination movement, and we build it to struggle, and we will keep fighting until we win. Who is our target? And this is also something related to the demands. Students have been fighting against their administrations and the school boards. Campus students have been fighting against their campus administrations, the board of regents, the CSU trustees to get divestment. Workers have been fighting against their bosses. Community members have been going to the city councils to pass resolutions. That's been a very important effort to build community and politicize. We have many targets. But aside of all of these local targets, we also need demands that allow us to elevate and put the pressure to the main decision makers in this country. Everybody in office, from city council to the state legislature to the US Congress, we want to put a target on them. Because if we put a target on them, we create the conditions to unite across sectors, to bring everybody together in a mass movement. Because in this country, we have had mass movements that have stopped wars, like the movement against the Vietnam War. We have had movements that have won civil rights, that have won abortion rights, and this is because they had demands that were broad enough to bring everybody into the movement and to put the target on the top decision makers, which is in the last instance, the government of our country. So yes, we are bold, yes, we are daring, yes, we're gonna ask to end all USA to Israel. We're not afraid to ask that from the Bay Area. Explain a little bit the rationale behind these demands. When we say end all US aid to Israel, remove the occupation troops, and the genocide, we will understand that this demand allows us to combine and build on the divestment work that we're doing on the campuses. The unions are trying to get their own funds, like the UAW has funds invested in Israel, but also the funds of their pensions are invested in war manufacturing in Israel. But also these divestment campaigns of the labor movement also fall into end all USA to Israel. And also all the initiatives to do arms embargo, the workers' boycotts, the rank and file workers are organizing in the tech industry, in the transportation industry, in logistics, to also stop sending this material support to Israel. It also encompasses the academic boycott that in the universities we're pushing. No more deals, no more sending students to study in Israel, no more Israeli speakers in our university, no more research for Israel. This is a demand that allows us to build on, include these sector-based demands, but also start connecting all of the local work we're doing in the community, in the unions, in the student movement, to start putting the pressure where the money is. Because let's be honest, even if we divest all of our pensions, which we must divest, even if we divest all of the university funds, which we must divest, that's not going to end the genocide, unfortunately. Because we know that the #1 institution that is financing Israel is the US government. That's right. And they've been doing that since the creation of the State of Israel. And they've been sending more than $300 billion from our taxes, from our labor, to sustain that state that could not exist without the material financing of the US government. So yes, we want to put this demand on the board. And let me tell you something more about this. This is not just about unplugging the war machine. This is not just about going after the big backers of the state of Israel. This is not just a money issue. It is a money issue, but it is a political issue. Because we know that if in this country we have a mass movement of students, workers, and community that popularize the demand and all USA to Israel now, and it becomes what we discuss in the classrooms, what we discuss in the union, what we post all over our demonstrations, and that starts getting a demand that is in the news and in the media. Only the fact that that will be this movement is going to send so much courage to the masses of Arabs, of Palestinians that are daily oppressed in Israel. Because once this discussion becomes the discussion in this country, and especially when we win this demand, we will be accomplishing the best political motivator for emancipation. Because we will be sending a very clear message to everybody in the Middle East. We do not stand anymore for US imperialism. We are going to attack our own state. And that is an economic demand, it's a demand about recovering our money, but it's also a political demand of solidarity, and this is a demand we want to bring to the movement. Now let me speak about two other demands that might feel, self-evident. Stop student and worker repression. They've been coming after us. They're coming against the UC students at Santa Cruz, the student workers, the undergrads, with search warrants, going to their houses and their phones. They're firing nurses and staffers at UC San Francisco because they're there to connect that Zionism and the genocide has a mental health impact. They're forbidding nurses in the hospitals from wearing pro-Palestine gear so they can connect with the patients they bring. They're firing workers in the tech industry when they stand up for their rights and they say, we don't want our labor to go to these companies. Repression is happening everywhere and it is escalating. Because also for the folks who shut down the Golden Gate Bridge, the 26, they're not only putting the regular charges on them, they're also putting the conspiracy charges. Because they want to know who was at the meetings. They want the names. They want to unorganize. So when we do this demand, it's not only because we want more legal funds and defeat them in the courts. It's because our movement has learned that repression is won, the fight against repression is won when we have mass action against repression. So all the fight in the courts, all the legal support needs to be backed by unconditional solidarity with everyone who stands for the liberation of Palestine. Regardless if you agree or disagree with the tactics, you need to stand in solidarity with them, and we need to start coordinating the defense. Because let me tell you just one thing. Bay Area for Palestine, we organized a very important mass education meeting in February, and we booked one school in Oakland. And what happened? The Zionists find out that we booked the school. And the teacher who made the reservation was fired. And if we cannot as a movement say, don't worry, we'll have your back, the teachers are not going to join the movement anymore. So the fight against repression, the building of solidarity across sectors, student, workers, and community, to get all of our comrades free, it's the condition for us to keep building this movement. And I want to get to the last demand, which is the demand the students are bringing. Money for jobs and education, not for war and occupation. And it has to do not about just being the ones in control of the wealth we create and our money and our taxes and deciding where it goes invested. It also has to do with the conversations where we do political organizing. Because how do we grow this movement? We're going to bring a lot of folks that say, yes, I stand for Palestine and support Palestine. But other folks say, you know what, I don't care, unfortunately. My fees are too high, I cannot pay rent, my job. And when we want to bring people in this movement, we've been preparing this movement because we want them to care. But we're not only appealing to them, to their moral guilt. They should be guilty if they're not organizing. But we are not just a charity movement. We're not just like an evangelizing movement. We're not just a movement that believes in the good. Many of us here believe in the good. But we are a political movement. And we want to show people that their interests are aligned with the interests of the people in Palestine. And when we have a demand that connects our issues, so the students can concretely understand how their money should be invested in the classroom to hire more teachers for better mental health services in light of the genocide, and the education workers can do the same, and the healthcare workers can do the same, and the public workers can do the same. When we have demands that connect our interests, it becomes a political movement. Everybody can step in. And in the movement, we do the political education for Palestine. So I just wanted to give this review of why we chose these demands, because they're demands that reflect the work we have to do ahead, right? The work we have to do ahead, the many conversations we need to have. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to break into different breakout groups to discuss these demands, to see what are the amendments to these demands, to see if there are other proposals, and then we're going to reconvene in the plenary session to see if we can endorse these.
Over 47,000 student workers, mostly undergrads across the UC system, are organizing a union with the UAW so that we can rally against the UC. This power, labor power, and pro-Palestinian power go hand in hand. Gabe and I are committed to organizing pro-Palestinian worker power because we know that the only way to win is to fight together.
Often, there are imagined or actual distinctions between the student and worker movements. This is a great opportunity to join the two in an explicitly powerful and democratic way for us to be in solidarity for justice in Palestine. So, in order to form a union, we need to talk to and organize our coworkers, and there are a lot of them, and UC isn't just going to give us a list of them. So if you are a student or a student worker at UC, or if you know any, come find us during lunch. We want to talk to you about how you can get more involved. We have a flyer and a form that we'd like you to fill out. So thank you all for listening, and free Palestine.